Hi ladies, so today's video is going to be a review on the new Bare Minerals Bare Skin Foundation. Now this came out about a month ago and I went and picked it up from Ulta about 2 weeks. I figured I'd use it for 2 weeks and give you my honest review while playing with it and everything. Now basically it says, I pulled it out of a magazine, it's clinically proven tone correcting mineral foundation and brightening serum in one. It's non-chemical broad spectrum SPF. It's supercharged with lilac plant cells and vitamin C to help reveal brighter and even tone skin. 95% of women experience a measurable improvement in the appearance of dark spots. Now, it does come with a brush that they purchase it, but of course my Ulta and those people with all their brilliance decided instead of to order the same amount of brushes as foundation, assuming that everybody, because they were advertising them together, that everybody who bought the foundation would probably want to try the brush out as well. They ordered like half the brushes compared to foundation. So of course when I went there was foundations available, but the brushes were already sold out. So I'm not going to do a review of the brush, obviously. I don't think that it has anything to do with the performance of the foundation. Anyways, I use my Sigma F80 Flat Kabuki brush. I've used this with CC creams, BB creams, foundations of every sort and size, and this works fine. So that's what I've been doing. Like I said, I've been wearing it for 2 weeks, and okay, so I guess I'll go into the pros. It does provide a beautiful even tone coverage. I think it's right when it says it's tone correcting. I think it's great with covering up dark spots, freckles, redness and stuff like that. It did a great job. Now I don't have acne, I don't have a lot of pimples that I want to cover up. I don't think that it would necessarily be good for that because, and let's get into my cons. The first problem I had was I had a little bitty, itty bitty pimple right here, was barely anything. I went ahead and put some pimple medicine on it, and you know how it dries out. So I had like a little flake of dry skin right here that just needed to come off. When I put this on, when I'm putting my foundation on, I don't put it on like, you know, I'm not up close and personal. I kind of put it over, you know, where the mirror is a good distance, like, you know, an arm's length away. So when I'm putting it on, I don't get to see the nitty-gritty stuff or whatever. So went ahead and put it on, went to work, and when I got to work, I kind of went into the mirror or whatever, I was kind of looking a little bit closer, and you could see, like, it was so, now granted, arm's length away, you couldn't really see it, but when you got up close, it was like this, I mean, like close enough where, I don't know, like afterwards I just felt like I'd noticed it. But it like got into all the crevices of the dry skin and just accentuated it. Now again, from farther away you could look at, you know, you couldn't really see it, but if anybody got closer to me or like my husband or you know, even my boss working close, you know, in close confinement or close quarters or whatever, I think that he would have been able to see it. And it just was, oh gosh, it was horrible. So it really accentuated the dryness. So if you have dry skin or any dry patches, I don't think this is a good thing because it dries like in a powder. It's like a liquid form, but it dries in a powder, almost like the L'Oreal Magic Nude or whatever. So if you didn't like that, probably not gonna like this one. But I have like normal skin around my face, and then on my T-zone, I'm oily, but just that one little dry spot or whatever. If you are dry, you're probably not gonna like it. A second thing, if you're oily, you're probably not going to like it. And here's the reason why. Because I'm oily in my T-zone, I like to set my foundation with powder. I set it with my face. I do it with CC creams, BB creams, foundations, and stuff like that. Just because when you're oily, you don't want to have, you want like a close to matte finish. You don't want to look dewy. You don't want to look oily. It just accentuates it. And, you know, when you're oily, you don't want to look oily. So the problem with this is because it dries to a powder, when you try to put a powder over it, it kind of breaks it up. Now it didn't break it up here when I was doing my contouring, but like right in here, it started like, you could literally see where the product was kind of like bunching up and starting to come off. It broke up right here and it started breaking up right here. And like, you know, on the tip of my nose or whatever. So what I started to do was trying to, you know, didn't do it with a powder or whatever, or, I didn't set it with a powder, and it helped a little bit. But even then, during the, like, towards the end of the day, even without setting it with a powder, I noticed breaking up in my T-zone. Now the problem with that is, again, it wasn't something that you could necessarily see from arm's length distance, but when you got up close, you could see it. I tried to like wipe it to kind of even it out. It ended up taking all the product out. And then of course my redness, which is all my T-zone, was like shining through. So I had perfect flawless skin right here, but right here where I tried to wipe it off or, you know, try to correct it, was my redness was poking through. So I was just like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. So the last thing that I had difficulty with, because it does dry, it goes on as a liquid, but it dries as a powder, I use concealer under my eyes. I have to use concealer. Now, I tried two different ways. I tried to put the foundation, when I first started using it, I was putting the foundation all over, even under my eyes. I do that with any foundation that I have because it helps correct that area, and I notice I don't have to use as much concealer. So tried to do that. Because it dries as a powdery finish, obviously, when I put on my concealer, which is a, you know, more of a liquid, you know, consistency, it started breaking up and bunching up just like anything else. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to stop the foundation right here, like right under my eye circles, and do that. I still could not figure out a way to make this foundation and my concealer work. It started breaking up right here. You could tell that, you know, that normal, you know, where you put liquid over a powder, that kind of breaking up and stuff like that, that's what it did. I could not find any way in the 2 weeks that I tried this to try to make those two things work together. The only thing I could think of is if you do the Bare Minerals concealer that is powder, because this dries as a powder concealer, it might like help it. But the problem is my eye circles are so bad that doesn't help me. Like I found what I needed to help make my dark eye circles not look so prominent, and this does not work in that concealer routine. So those are the problems I had. It just broke up throughout the day. I couldn't set it with a setting powder. So if you are oily and are used to setting it with a powder, you're not going to like it because you're not going to be able to do it. If you are dry and have any kind of dry spots on your skin, it will accentuate them. It's good that we're going in the summer because obviously people are, you know, it's more humid outside, there's more moisture in the air, but definitely it's not, even in the wintertime I get dry. This is not a foundation that I would recommend in the wintertime because it will accentuate the dryness. So if you have dry skin, beware, you might not like it. If you wear concealer like me and have to wear concealer, it's going to be very difficult for you to try to find a good combination between your concealer and this foundation because of the powdery finish. So that is that in a nutshell. I will say, if you are looking for a foundation, I'm not wearing it today, but if you are looking for a foundation that looks awesome on video and pictures, this is the foundation. The pictures that I have, or the videos that I have taken with this foundation on, and even the pictures that I have taken, this looks gorgeous. It makes my face look very fresh. It makes my face look very young. All my redness is gone. It just looks like my face is absolutely perfect. Now, granted, I don't have a lot to cover up. I'm mostly covering up dark eye circles, which this doesn't help with, but in redness. I have a little bit of freckles, but it's not that big of a deal, but I don't have acne. So my face is, and I know this is going to come across the wrong way, but it's almost, I mean, there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot that I have to cover. So if you are somebody who has a lot of tone correcting and stuff like that, you might want to try this because it does a really good job with the redness and, you know, the freckles and stuff like that. So I think it does a good job with dark, you know, dark spots and evening out your skin tone. I think it does a good job with that. But if you're trying to cover acne and stuff like that, I would not recommend it. So that is my video. That is my review in a nutshell. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There is a frickin' like a gnat on my, you little stupid head. Ugh, stupid thing. But anyways, let me know if you tried this foundation, if you had the same thing. I don't want to deter anybody from buying it, obviously, but those were the problems that I personally had. So if you are thinking this is going to be a miracle thing, just take those kind of, you know, difficulties that I had into consideration. Maybe you'll have better luck with it. Like I said, I love the foundation and the finish it gave in videos and in pictures, and even from far away, it made my skin look beautiful, but when you get up close, it's like a train wreck going on. So just take that into consideration. Hopefully you enjoyed the video.